let me just get this very clear. I'm not dealing with I just want to focus on MFP today. Okay, I'll be very clear. Maybe there are many other issues, but let's focus on MFP. As far as MFP is concerned, as I see it, the FRA has gone ahead of PESA by defining what is an MFP. Okay? Is that now, under the ministry, have you accepted that definition of MFP or not? Is my one question to you. And if not, what can we do to facilitate that acceptance of that definition?
Yeah. What has happened in this case, because I will go one step ahead also, we are now proposing, Ministry of Panchayati that proposing to amend the PESA also, PESA 1996 also, where they are putting now the definition of MFP and the community definition of community resources also, where Ministry of Environment and Forest have given their views.
What is your view?
Yeah, in these views we are talking about particularly sensitive issue of bamboo. We have a different opinion about that. Yeah. So we have a different opinion about that. Another issue we are trying to say.
So what is your opinion? Don't talk me. The idea here is to understand your opinion.
If you go to IFA 1927,
yes,
where bamboo is in timber. Again, it's a matter of interpretation.
That's right.
So we try to take it.
Madhu, wait a minute. Please, can we understand? The whole purpose of this is to listen to each other and understand.
And ma'am, what I'm trying to say,
let us understand, because
we all are here, I think, with a common objective.
Yeah, we are.
That how to increase the, I mean, if you talk about livelihood of the common people, and how to sustain whatever Saxena has said about that. We are talking about sustainable housing.
So answer my question, Mr. Singh. I want to know very clearly, how is the ministry now seeing your definition of the MFP definition in FRA? What will you accept of it? Have you accepted it? And what are your positions as far as
we have given certain suggestions in the definition.
What have you given?
That about bamboo, we have, I mean, certain
what have you said?
Reservation that bamboo, we are, for the time being, we are saying that it is not a part of MFP. Although FRA clearly defines and then given that it is there. So we have given our views just to have a further discussion.
And how do you say that if FRA has, so you're basically saying there are two acts. Can I understand your position?
Yeah.
As you're saying there are two acts, there is the Indian Forest Act and then there is the FRA. And it is your interpretation that as the two acts exist and they have differences in their provisions as the definition of MFP, in your view both acts have equal status. That is your provision. That is your view.
No law before the Forest Rights Act ever defines minor forest projects. Let's get this right.
Not even the Indian Forest
No
Act?
law in this country has ever defined MFP.
Fascinating.
In fact, the first law is the FRA, and therefore, in fact, that was my first point which I wanted to make. There's a whole debate of the definition, which is, in legal terms, it's an inclusive definition. Where again there is a problem, because when you have an inclusive definition the way we have it in FRA, I think it's a great step forward, but still there are issues. Vis-a-vis a state list of MFP, which is the norm. Every state has a list of MFP, which they think as the last word on MFP.
Okay.
Right? Now the problem is whether you accept, I mean, I don't think the MOEF has a choice as of today to have that option that whether they'll accept that definition or not, because that is the law of the land. And that is the only law of the land which talks about MFP.
Fascinating. Now in that context,
on this fact,
because I'm sorry I'm putting Mr. Singh on the map, but I do want
on
him
this
to
point,
answer this.
in fact, Labour Commission, Mr. Sagaria was the CEO director there. He is, I have used it, he has talked about bamboo as a minor forest resource. The toil amongst the foresters. Before this commission.
I just want to know, how does the ministry now not accept it? Yes, no, I want to know, how is the ministry not planning to accept it?
No, it's something like that we are not accepting. We have given our suggestions, and then we have given with certain sort of, because
but the suggestions are for the future. Currently it is on the...
but we have given just on the scientific management of it. It's nothing like that what, I mean,
so
we also abide by what FRA is.
So therefore, that's very good to understand. So Mohan, that answers your question. As far as the ministry is concerned, I will give you a chance. I just want to finish this conversation and record it. That as far as, yes, please go ahead. Yes, please.
When we compare to the states, what we have seen, that when we say that the PESA gives the ownership of MFP to the ground survey, you must use just to it. They are saying that this is IFA, Indian Forest Act, that is not giving the bamboo, not defining the bamboo as a minor forest produce. We are having a problem, and we can't give bamboo till
So
then.
can we therefore
So we require an amendment in
No, we don't require an amendment. That's what I'm understanding from this conversation. That's what I want to record, and I want us to, from what I can record and from what I can hear Sanjay say and Mr. Singh saying, we are saying very clearly that there is no difference of opinion that bamboo is an MFP today as far as the first definition that has been provided, which is under Forest Rights Act. Therefore, if there is any problem at the state level, it is a question of a clear directive going now from the Ministry of Environment, from Forestry, to every state saying very clearly that bamboo is an MFP as it has been defined under FRA. Am I understanding that? So therefore we can write to the minister and ask him to issue that letter. That is really what we are getting to. No, I'm not trying to come to conclusion. I'm sorry, I'm very clear on, I want things done. I don't want this debate to go on. And see, don't be a bureaucrat, tell me what to do, okay?
You should also try to understand why bamboo has been classified as timber. See, bamboo is used by three industry,
That's right.
and the construction, like the paper mills, construction industry, and artisans. If you look at the total production and total share of these things, my own hunch, I may be wrong, that was 70 to 80% used by paper mills. And very little goes to the actual artisans. Now, the kind of bamboo which is needed by industry is very different from the kind of bamboo which is needed by artisans. Bamboos are different. The names are different, the practices are different, the way the clumps are.
I appreciate all that.
All that is
but
very
that still
important.
doesn't take
So
away
therefore-
from the
therefore-
basic, it doesn't take
No,
away.
ma'am, let me come to the conclusion. What I'm trying to say is, unless you to say that bamboo should primarily be used by artisans for their livelihood, you would not be able to change the agricultural practices, and you will not be able to do all that is needed.
Can I take that as the next, because I will come to it. I have a whole issue of what do you mean by outside the area. I have a whole issue of bona fide and all the rest of it. I will come to those issues. But this decision I want, in the presence of, with Mr. Rathore here, if you can add to it, because I really do plan to write these and push on them. So don't tell me later on कि आप लोगों ने ये सही नहीं था. We are agreeing here that bamboo is an MFP as per the existing law of the country. Because Forest Rights Act is the only law which has defined MFP and it has included bamboo in it. The Indian Forest Act, which from where the states derive their list of MFP, does not define an MFP.
No,
give
but
a list.
one step ahead also.
Huh?
Timber is, bamboo is in the list of timber when they are trying to elaborate the definition of timber in IFA 1927.
Wait a minute. Is it in the list? Can we
Yeah,
get
they
that
have
clear?
said,
Sanjay,
yes.
Sanjay.
See, the confusion is as follows.
Huh.
IFA talks about forest produce.
Yes.
It doesn't talk about minor forest produce. And minor forest produce is a subset of forest produce. That's where the confusion begins. And the forest produce is defined into two parts. A set of forest produce, whether brought from a forest or not, is considered as a forest produce. And there are certain produce which are only to be brought from the forest are considered to be forest produce. Again, there are horns, etc., which conflict with the Wildlife Act and all that. That is certain issue. But that is where the problem is. And then the
So
forest
where does
department.
bamboo come in?
It is a forest produce. There is no. There is
It's
no
a
problem
forest
with that.
produce. ठीक है?
Now,
इसका मतलब ये है कि टिम्बर की भी व्याख्या नहीं है.
now the Forest Rights Act is a subsequent legislation which goes to the subset level of minor forest
I will
produce and
just
defines
request
it.
you, ma'am, to
And
go
therefore that
through the
is-
introduction of IFA 1927, where you will go when they define forest produce. In the last line, they explain what do they mean by timber, where they include bamboo.
Okay. But it's
So-
more like an example they're giving.
So,
It's
so,
not
so
as
what,
if they.
what our suggestion is that, we know that for the first time, this MFP was defined in FRA 2006, no problem. And where bamboo is in part of it. But what we are trying to correlate there, IFA 1927, where it says something else. So how to have a better synergy between these two? We are not trying to say, we are not against that.
So synergy
How
should
did they
mean,
demand timber?
so synergy
How
should
did they
mean,
demand timber?
They have given certain.
Wood or something?
Yeah, everything you will
but
say.
synergy, Mr. Singh, should mean only that we accept the fact that bamboo is an MFP, and then we find ways of being able to implement it as an MFP, which is what NC is saying. How do we look at marketing support? How do we look at who gets it? What is get silvicultural? But the first, I think, I've struggled with this, Mr. Singh, for 15, 20 years. So I'm not new to this, okay? I have also been raising this issue of bamboo. And I just simply want some idea here today. Are we in conclusion here that bamboo is an MFP? And can we therefore not move on that? Mr. Rathod, Green India mein MFP will come, bamboo will be an MFP or not?
As you travel length and breadth of the country, you get to hear this particular term. It's poor man's timber. So bamboo is actually considered as poor man's timber. I mean, kind of usage which the people actually make.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think I'm not getting actually into this.
नहीं
I
इसी
have
में
something else to share.
वो बाद में करेंगे अभी मेरा I want a conclusion here. We can't be politically correct. हमारे साथ तो नहीं हो सकते. So Singh sir, can we therefore agree that it's a question, and what we're hearing from the Ministry of Panchayati Raj is a concern that they are finding it very difficult because states are interpreting it differently, and states are saying that it's in conflict with the Indian Forest Act. Can we therefore ask a very clear clarification from the Ministry of Environment to be issued that as far as bamboo is concerned, it's included in FRA and it is a minor forest produce. Okay? So let me report that. That's a very major move ahead. It'll make my heart very, if it can happen, it'll be wonderful.
You have to check that.
It's better than that.
We will be a landlord. All people will